Okay, so I want to share with you 3 quick, simple ways that you can get your body to start burning fat more efficiently. And this has nothing to do with eating or diet or any of that. Okay, so I want to share with you 3 quick, simple ways that you can get your body to start burning fat more efficiently. And this has nothing to do with eating or diet or any of that. So these are just 3 quick, simple things that you can utilize, because more than likely, if your body is not burning fat, then you're having some metabolic symptoms or some metabolic problems with your body. And it's not about boosting metabolism. It's more about repairing metabolism. And these 3 simple things can kind of help to get you on your way to burning fat a lot easier. Now, I'm not saying that diet is not important, because it is the most important thing. However, even if you changed nothing about your diet, these 3 things will still get you further to your goals with burning fat. And the first one would be fasting. Now, I know this is something that a lot of people hear about, but a lot of people are still not implementing enough fasting into their regimen. And quite frankly, most people are just eating too much all day. There's no window. There's no period of time where their bodies stop with the processing of food and is able to burn fat. And what fasting does is it allows time for now the liver to kick in and for your body to start burning fat and using some of that stored energy, the stored sugar and stuff that's been stored, is utilizing it during that period to allow your body to use it as fuel and to be burned off. And so fasting really does help with fat loss, the fat loss process. And so you want to have periods of time where you're not eating. Now, the best way to really take advantage of this is to either prolong your fasting from when you're sleeping, because everybody is fasting when they're sleeping. And hopefully you're not waking up in the middle of the night eating anything, because that is not going to be good for your body. But the best thing to do would be to prolong it from when you wake up, meaning push it back. If you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, for example, if you can push it back 2, 3, 4 hours, to 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, pushing it back a little bit will help with your fasting time. Or stop eating a little earlier and move that fasting time up from when you're headed to bed. So let's say you're going to bed at 10 o'clock and you usually stop eating around, 9. I'm not saying that that's good either, because really you should stop a couple of hours before bed. But let's say you stop eating around 9 o'clock. Move it up some. Move it up to 7 o'clock. Move it up to 6 o'clock. The earlier you move it up, the better. Now, which is better, to prolong it or to move it up? You know what? Whichever one is better depends on which one is easier for you. That's what I would say. Which one is easier for you to do? Is it easier for you to push back the time or cut the time off earlier? Some people are like, no, I wake up so hungry, I just can't do that. And I'm just not willing to do that. I'd rather stop eating early. And then other people are like, you know what? When I get up, I'm not as hungry. I think I can push it back a few hours and get some intermittent fasting time in. Okay. So consider doing that, because honestly, you don't want to be eating more than 8-10 hours a day. You don't want to be eating from 8 in the morning to 8-9 o'clock at night. And some people eat that much, and unless you're eating whole foods and you're eating healthy, that's not a good idea. Some people can wake up and just kind of eat, and they're fasting in between their eating times, like they're not snacking, and then when they get hungry they eat again or whatever. But a lot of times people don't eat 13 and 14 hours when they're eating regular, because their hormones are not messed up, and so they're not really going to be hungry because they're eating foods that's going to satiate them. All right, so that is definitely something that can help with you. Now, the second thing I would say would be to include burst training in on exercising. And I'm not saying that you got to do this for a long period of time. When I say burst training, I mean all out exertion, like something where you run up the stairs like for 30 seconds with everything you have, up and down the stairs, up and down, and then you take a break. And then you do it again after a break. Maybe you need a minute or two to catch your breath, and then you do it again. And, it's known that at least 12 minutes of this a day is really good. And I mean 12 minutes, that includes the time that you're resting also. So if you're, going all out for 30 seconds and resting for 2 minutes, about 12 minutes of this a day is really, really good for your body. And the reason why is because it helps with the growth hormone. Growth hormone is a hormone that actually helps you to burn fat. See, there's hormones that make you gain fat, and then there's hormones that help you to burn fat. The growth hormone helps you to burn fat, and burst training is really good with helping to produce a bit more of the growth hormone. And so this type of exercise also can help your body to burn fat beyond the time that you're actually doing the workout. Like there's some workouts, like certain cardio, that you can do at a low impact pace where you're only going to burn fat while you're doing it. Okay. And that's if you hit fat burning potential, because you might be, like getting rid of the sugar and the carbs that you ate from the day before or whatever. And then it takes a little bit of time to really get your body to burn fat. But this is like a hack to make sure that you burn fat a lot quicker. You'll burn a lot more calories, and your body will continue to burn fat after that. And you will develop the growth hormone. So being able to do burst training, whether it's burpees or jumping jacks or running, sprinting, or cycling, on a bike. But whatever it is, you just have to have all out exertion, enough exertion to where you're like in zone 5, you're out of breath, you can't talk, and you really, really just need to relax or walk or do something extremely low impact. Take a break to, catch your breath and to get restored, and then do it again. Now, some people might even go 5-6 minutes of doing this, or just doing this a few times a day. A burst here and a burst there is really, really good. And they may stick to walking and just other stuff. And you can stick to walking, and you can stick to your low impact stuff, or your swimming or whatever, especially if you're having joint problems and you're just not able to be as mobile as you need to be. Stick to something. Make sure that you're doing some sort of exercise. But if there's a way that you can get a burst in here or there throughout the day, a couple of times a week, at least 2-3 times a week, that will help your body to burn fat. And then the last thing I want to say is making sure that you get enough sleep at night will actually help your body to burn fat. A lot of people don't realize that your sleep is going to affect your body's ability to burn fat throughout the day, and it'll affect your insulin levels, and your insulin levels are going to, also affect how much your body burns fat. So if your insulin levels are high and you got high blood sugar throughout the day, a lot of blood sugar, left around in your blood, and your insulin is being released back to back, or you have to use more insulin to help to adjust, the sugar in your blood, then your body is going to have a more difficult time burning fat. And a lot of times that just depends on how much sleep you got, how much quality sleep, not how long, but how much quality sleep your body has gotten. And so it's good to understand and note this, that the day before is going to matter with what the next day looks like. And, if you are fasting, or if you are eating healthy, or if you are exercising, you don't want that compromised because you don't get enough sleep. So not getting enough sleep the night before can compromise what you do the next day. And then not getting enough sleep after you've done things for that day can compromise the results that you've gotten during that day also. So there's no way to avoid this. You need to make sure that you're getting quality sleep, and that you put sleep practices in place to make sure that your sleep hygiene is as high as you need it to be. And it'll also help with your stress levels, with cortisol levels. Yes, we need a little cortisol, but a lot of people have too much cortisol. And a lot of times, even the belly fat that, a lot of people deal with, that's because of too much cortisol and too much stress. And sometimes the way to reduce that has nothing to do with exercise or anything. It just has everything to do with lowering stress. And getting a good night's rest is a good way to lower stress. So if you put these 3 things in practice, you're on your way to some good things that can help enable your body to burn fat. And by the way, I didn't mention that fasting also helps with that growth hormone. Okay, so when you have fasting and you have burst training, that helps with that growth hormone. And then getting some good sleep is amazing. Now, are there other exercises you can do? Yes, there are. And there are other exercises that I even prioritize, even over burst training, as a matter of fact. But again, I'm just trying to show you 3 things that you can do that can help you out and that can empower your body to burn more fat.